Now it's time for Movie Friends with your hosts Michelle and Seth. We're talking film without pretension. We're finding cats that are unexpected. We'll watch a movie, film, or schmovie, and we want you to join our journey. So subscribe and share this podcast, or this might just be the last of the Movie Friends. We're movie friends. We want to be your movie friends.
Hey, welcome to Movie Friends. I'm here with my friend Michelle Rubenstein, whose uncle left her that marble.
And I'm here with my friend Seth Vargas, who does favors for friends.
I do favor for friends. Favors for friends.
I know, it's hard to say, right? I
Favors
do
for friends?
the favors for the friends.
Hey, are you freezing?
Freezing.
Right now?
Freezing.
It is so cold. Michelle and I live in two different parts of New York, very far apart, and yet we are both so cold.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be getting a gargantuan storm. It's January 21st, and we're feeling it.
Gargantuan. How often do you use that word?
Not as often as I should.
I hear gargantuan, then I hear of gigante, then I think of Cam Gigante, then I think of giant beans. That is literally, as you said, gargantuan. That's what happened in my head.
Okay. All right. Well,
Anyway.
Cam Gigante, our friend from the OC and Twilight.
Yeah.
Other than freezing, what's going on? What are you doing this week?
Well, I bought an alarm clock.
Very good.
No, not very good. Not very good. I bought an alarm clock because I didn't want to use my phone and that be the first thing that wakes me up in the morning. So I buy this alarm clock that has all these built-in sounds and you wake up nicely, right? However, I've been so anxious that I won't hear the actual nice sounds. So I've been waking up right before my alarm goes off.
But that's the goal, isn't it?
To wake up anxious?
No, to wake up like of your own free will. Your body just wakes you up.
Yeah. And then there's like, Aunt uses a white noise machine, which I guess I also use it. And so when he turns it, when it's on, then I can't hear the actual alarm going off. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. How are you? What's going on in Sethland?
Well, I've been enjoying watching movies through your eyes. You've been watching so many movies this week, which has been great.
Yeah. Yep.
And I'm like full into editing. Holy moly. I'm drowning here, you know?
Are you enjoying the process of editing?
I'm loving it. I love editing. Editing is my favorite part of any production that I'm a part of. Editing's my favorite.
Audio and video editing are very different.
Very different, it turns out, yeah.
So I can see liking one over the other. Like, I have my personal opinions on the two mediums, yeah.
Yeah, but it's a lot of fun, so hoping to be finished here relatively soon, and then moving on.
Yeah.
I've also been cooking a lot, much like Easy Rollins in this film. I am currently unemployed. It's been nice, though, because I'm just editing and then I'm cooking meals, you know, and that's been really nice because when you cook for a living for as many years as I have, one of the last things that you want to do is like come home and cook. And so I've been refinding my love of home cooking, which is very different from restaurant cooking, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What have you been making? Give us a sample.
Well, I made gnocchi with sardines the other night. My wife is a big sardine fan.
Cool.
Michelle looks...
Sardines are really healthy for you.
Yeah.
But, okay, great. So sardines
So,
and
yeah,
gnocchi.
I made like gnocchi with thyme and sardines, and I made like a quick little cream sauce with it. It's good. I made a turkey and like a simple turkey and rice soup because it's so cold.
Yeah.
But that's like all I wanted to eat. Yeah.
Very nice.
Hey, I also just put out another episode of the series that I do with my mom on Patreon called Stop or My Mom Will Podcast. And we normally do action movies, but we took a diversion from that to just cover some movies that she likes. So we did the film A Walk in the Clouds, starring Keanu Reeves.
Oh.
Which is a movie that I had not seen. And, spoiler alert, but I really liked it.
Oh, that's fun.
But next up, we're going back. We're doing Con Air next.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Which is her choice. Her choice.
Yeah.
You and I were talking this week as you've been watching a lot of movies about how we're in award season.
Apparently.
And it's just the worst time of the year. That's like my least favorite thing on earth.
Yeah.
And tomorrow the Oscar nominees come out.
Oh.
And I'm like genuinely considering like just doing a social media fast for like a week.
Really?
Yeah, I don't want to hear about it or see it, and everyone losing their minds over an award that does not affect them personally in any way.
Right.
Oof.
I used to be so into award season, mostly for the red carpet. And I would always judge the commentators and be like, man, I could do this so much better than you. That's false. I don't feel that way anymore. I don't.
Don't you think you and I on the red carpet?
Yes.
Me wearing a tuxedo and a green beanie.
Oh my gosh. Me in a pink suit. Come on.
You in a butter bean suit from Better Blues.
No, we would be great. But I don't even remember the last award show I watched. I just have no interest anymore.
Yeah.
For years. And I used to love the Emmys because it was television, but even that, I just don't care.
I enjoy the pageantry of the whole thing. To me, that's the only part of the show that has any merit.
Yeah.
Is like, hey, look at these beautiful dresses. Hey, look at these celebrities saying funny things.
Totally.
And then whenever the host does like song and dance numbers, but I feel like a lot of times it's just disappointing. And it's so funny to me that like this is the town that showbiz is like based in.
Yeah.
And they can't even put on a good show for themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, come on, guys. Like, get some fireworks going.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I mean, and all of it is just covered the next day on social media. So you just see it all and you see the highlights or whatever. So there's nothing in me to go and try to watch it live. And then also to keep up with everything. Like I'm not watching these movies. These are not the movies I'm watching.
Yeah, which is good because a lot of great movies are just completely ignored. Kind of like Devil in a Blue Dress. That's right, folks. Today we're talking about Devil in a Blue Dress. This is our final film of our Denzel Washington series, which ended up being so much more interesting to me. Not that I didn't think it would be interesting. I mean, we're diving into one of the greatest American modern actors. It was always going to be good. But this month ended up being so much more interesting, you know?
Yeah, I was thinking about this. I'm like, did we cover enough range of him? We kind of talked about this last week of his work. But then also, it's hard to do that in 4 weeks.
Right. Here. I mean, we stayed in like an 11-year period.
Yeah, right.
1990, 91, 95, and then 2001 were the movies that we covered. So that's kind of interesting. And hopefully we covered some movies that don't always get covered when we talk about Denzel.
Yeah.
We started with Training Day, which is definitely one of the movies. And then Mo Better Blues, Mississippi Masala, and now Devil in a Blue Dress. I don't know. Maybe we just we're hitting the underappreciated films. That's okay too.
Yeah.
Anyway, today we're talking about Devil in a Blue Dress from 1995. This is written and directed by Carl Franklin, based on a novel of the same name by Walter Mosley, and a screenplay that we'll talk about later was very, very different. Edited by Carol Kravitz Akanian. Cinematography by Tak Fujimoto. composed by Elmer Bernstein, costume design by Sharon Davis. Starring Denzel Washington, Jennifer Beals, Tom Sizemore, Don Cheadle, Lisa Nicole Carson, and Mel Winkler. This movie was made, this is according to Carl Franklin, all right? The movie was made for $22 million, and it made $22 million. So it was pretty close to breaking even. And they filmed this from March 21st to June 20th. So just about 3 months. Michelle, you want to put down the pigtails and read our summary?
Easy Rollins lost his job. He needs another one, quick, or he's going to miss his mortgage payments and lose his house. When an offer for an easy job and a lot of money comes his way, he ignores what his gut tells him and takes the job. Now, Easy finds himself in the middle of 2 murders, a political campaign, police abuse, and a hitman that has a dark side. To make matters worse, his friend Mouse just got to town. Easy must navigate all of this while protecting his neck as he looks for the secret behind the devil in a blue dress.
You and I have been on a bit of a film noir journey this month. Not even just with movie friends, but listeners. Michelle hosts another show called We Are Liars, where her and her co-host Liz cover the TV show Pretty Little Liars. And I was a guest this month on that show to cover season 4, episode 18.
19. Sorry, I just had,
I mean, thank you for correcting me. And that is like a noir-styled episode of the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you've been watching some movies from like the 40s and 30s. I've been watching some movies from the 20s and 30s. So I love that we're kind of ending this month with this, neo-noir movie.
Yeah. It feels like we're in a theme inside of the theme.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
Which I love.
Definitely. Now, you and I both had not seen this movie before. So this is 3 movies in a row
I know.
that we're covering where we haven't seen them, which is great. This was a Patron nominated and voted movie that was just not on my radar in the slightest.
Have you heard of it before?
I had heard of it.
Okay.
But I had no idea what it was.
Yeah.
And apart from Denzel being in it, I probably would never have seen this.
Yeah.
Now, you and I have not talked about this movie really at all, except for we both shared with each other that upon first watch, this was a little hard to follow. So can you explain for me a little bit your experience watching this for the first time?
Yeah. The night before, I watched Sunset Boulevard. So it's been on my watch list. Like we mentioned, you came on for the PLL episode 419 Shadow Play. So I'm in the headspace, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So going into this, I was like, "Ooh, this feels like perfect to follow Sunset Boulevard." And I was fully committed, no breaks, no phone, like full intention is watching this movie. And I was very into the story, but there were a lot of times I was like, "Wait, what? Wait, who? Wait, what is that? Wait, okay." And then it ended and I was like, okay, I got the general of what we're putting down. I followed it. Yeah. But then if I literally was like, okay, to myself, I said, Michelle, repeat the story back to someone as if you were going to tell them what you just watched. And I couldn't articulate the timeline correctly until I really sat down and I wrote out the entire plot for myself to digest it. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but I don't know what that is. Maybe, and you said you had a similar issue with that. So I don't know. Is that just us? Is that just me? Did everyone feel this way? Is that just noirs in general? I don't know.
Right. No, I was so I would say 30 minutes, 35, 40 minutes in, I kind of just said to myself okay, strap in and absorb the experience because none of this is registering. And I'll pick it up on the second watch.
Yeah, right.
And I did. But what was confusing about it for me was just names.
Yes.
Like they would say, oh, so-and-so, or like Carter or Terrell. And I was like, okay, I think I know who that is. And then they would say Junior. And I'd be like,
and Dupree, that got
Junior?
me.
Ooh, Dupree. And then they were like, Richard McGee. And I'm like, who's Richard McGee?
Yes. Right.
Like, am I supposed to know who Richard McGee is? And then when we see Richard McGee dead, I was like, wow, that's so weird that they got an actor to play just a dead guy, and we've never seen this guy before. And then on my second watch through, I'm like, wait, Richard McGee was the white guy in the supermarket who was trying to get into the club upstairs? Oh, and Richard McGee is also the guy who had the photo. None of this made it all just washed over me completely. And then in the beginning, he's calling her Dahlia or Debbie, and then it's like her name is Daphne, and I'm like, okay. So I'll tell you who I knew. I knew who Easy was, I knew who Mouse was, and I knew who Coretta was. I knew those people. I knew those names. When Frank Green shows up, and he's like, oh, that's Frank Green. I'm like, who's Frank Green again? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it wasn't necessarily that like I didn't know who all the players were. It's just that like when you're introduced to a character and you're told their name kind of once in passing, you really got to stick that in your craw and then be able to pull it back later. But it's like so much is happening in like every scene. It's like there's twists and there's turns and there's double crossing and there's this and there's that I was like, I just couldn't absorb it. But then on my second watch through, I got all like, I thought I was going to have to do what you did, which is like write everything down every step of the way. And I didn't have to do that. It just, knowing the ending now, it all made sense. But I had told you that I was going to make a chart, because when we covered Godfather 2, we both also had kind of trouble keeping everything totally straight, because in that they're just throwing all these different names and you have to remember who's part of what faction and what area of the country they're in and who they hate and who they're double crossing. So I had made like a chart with like connecting lines. And
it was very helpful.
And I did it again for this movie, but I didn't make the connecting lines because I was like, we both understand it now. But yeah. So I'm very curious, anyone out there, if you recall your first time watching it, or if you watched it for the first time for this episode, please let us know if Michelle and I are just really dumb.
Or it just takes a little bit longer to process information, which is a truth for me. I know for sure.
Yes, absolutely. So, okay. Other than that though, how did you find the film?
I liked it. I was along for the ride. And like I said, I was in this like noir headspace. I was in the mood for it. So it was definitely enjoyable. How did you find it?
After the opening credits, which is going across this painting, the painting is called Bronzeville at Night by Archibald John Motley Jr. It's painted in 1949. And we're listening to West Side Baby by T-Bone Walker. I was like transfixed by this opening. I loved this opening credits idea. And it reminded me of being a kid and like sitting and looking at a painting that had a lot going on, like a painting of a village scene or a city scene or just whatever. And like following all the, seeing all the little different characters, kind of like a Where's Waldo page.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Did you ever like Where's Waldo as a kid?
I loved Where's Waldo. Oh yeah. And like, I'm thinking of like Highlights magazine and the World of Richard Scarry. Mm-hmm. And I would just follow those characters. Yeah. But yes, exactly what you're describing. I mean, my mom, there's paintings all over my mom's house, and I would just make up stories about people in those paintings.
Right. Yeah, before TikTok, kids, we used to just sit and look at a painting.
There's a painting my mom has in her house. It's a party scene. And my friend Amy and I, we attached names to each character of friends in our life at that time.
Oh, very
And so we're
cool.
like, oh, this is Donnie, this is Nick, this is Joe, this is what's happening. Like we created a whole drama just from the one painting.
And that's what they do here with the movie. They show us this painting. And what I like about it is we start out and we're focusing on one interaction, and then we go to another, and then we're panning across the painting until eventually we pull back and we see the whole scene. And that's a mystery. You know, a mystery is like, if you just saw the whole thing from the beginning, obviously there would be no mystery. So you have to tell the story in specific order and bits and pieces to keep people guessing, right? So anyway, love that. Love the song. And then it cuts to this great street scene. We go up into the bar. Even though it's so cold here in New York, I was like, I feel hot already. Like you can feel it. We come into Denzel and he says, summer 1948, and I needed money. And I genuinely paused it and I said, 5-star movie. Like I was like, if the movie ended right here, I'd be like, that was great. Just that, you know?
Okay. Wow.
And then the movie continued, and I didn't have that same feeling throughout the whole thing, but I loved the opening. Absolutely loved it. I love the introduction of Easy Rollins, which like, I don't know anyone named Ezekiel, but if I did, I'd be like, I'm going to call you Easy.
Yeah.
Really good name. So this is Denzel month. And we talked about how the last two movies that we did were kind of more Denzel in a supporting role. But this is him. He is here. He is our lead. He's our detective. He's our narrator. He's probing the morals and the ethics of what is happening to him, to his world, to the case. This is a Denzel movie, right? How did you find him here as Easy Rollins?
I enjoyed him. He's choosing to do things, and that at the same time he has no choice, he feels. And so we're along for the ride, and then he's just thrown into situations. As this does happen, I feel like in these type of stories of like, well, now I'm too thick in it. I can't just stop here. And so I liked him. And there were a lot of other characters I liked. And then there were some characters I had issues with, but we'll get to that. What did you feel about Denzel? And this is why I brought this up too, of like, is this like a good representation of Denzel and the work that he does? I feel like I'm still so new to Denzel, so it's hard for me to think.
Sure.
Yeah, or no.
I think so. And I think that this would be a good showcase for any actor because the character of Easy isn't 100% squeaky clean.
No.
He's a little complicated, you know? He's not always the smartest, but then there's times where it's like, wow, he's really taking control of this situation, you know? I mean, when he's on the couch with Coretta and he's like, no, I was just paid to find her by some guy. I was like, Easy, you can't tell people. You can't tell the person that you're trying to get information from this part of your, you know.
Well, I mean, at that, when he says that, they are like mid hookup. Like, we are going to say anything. Well, right. But
he's trying to prolong the situation, but still.
But
come on, man.
Yeah.
This is Gumshoe 101.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it's just a good character. It's a good character. It's a good arc. He's got a lot happening. He's got a guy who's always trying to cut down his trees. He's got Mouse.
The guy always trying to cut down the trees.
Yes. I did find an answer for this.
Yeah, I did too. What answer did you find?
Did you find the interview with him?
With who?
Carl Franklin.
Like a snippet of it, of what it pulled. I found it on Reddit.
Okay. What did you find?
I found that Easy was planting his own tree. It's supposed to be symbolic of Easy trying to achieve the American dream. His own house with a yard and trees and the craziness around him threatening to destroy it all. But apparently this character is not in the book.
Right. Correct.
This is just made for the film adaptation. Yeah.
Now, listener, if it's been a while, okay, since you've seen Devil in a Blue Dress, you might remember some of the highs, some of the more dramatic moments you maybe have forgotten about. That every time Easy comes home, there's just a guy hanging around really trying to cut his trees. We don't see where this guy lives. It does not appear that this man is employed by the neighborhood to be the neighborhood gardener. He seems to be not all there, and Easy hates him. He's like, I think at one point he says, "Go on, get," and throws a rock at him.
He does.
It's crazy.
Well,
it's crazy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I pulled part of an interview with Carl Franklin about this. Do you want me to read you the whole thing? Because he has a concrete explanation for what this is, and it's a lot less metaphorical than what you thought and what I've heard a lot of other people theorize about. And when I read his answer, I just laughed and I was like, "That's really funny."
Okay.
All right. So this is Carl Franklin that I'm reading here. He says in the book, and he's speaking about Easy here, he's planting his flowers in the garden, but that's not really that active. In film, you need something a little more active to engage the audience. And one of the things about a black neighborhood oftentimes is that, it'll be a nice neighborhood, and yet there will be somebody in that neighborhood who's just a little bit off. And yet there will be somebody in that neighborhood who's just a little bit off. And then he laughs. And they become the signature of the neighborhood and a nuisance. But if anything ever happened to that person, everybody would be very upset because you just associate him with your whole feeling for the neighborhood. At the end of the book, when Easy finally solves the crime and he's come back to his house and he's sitting with his friend, there's this emotional swell that I felt when I read the book. And it was him sitting there with his neighborhood, in his element, with those people that were his neighbors. I wanted to make sure that we rooted that in someone. And so that's why that character is there.
He's a fixture of the neighborhood. And if he wasn't there, he'd be missed.
Yes.
Yeah, but every time I'm like, what? At first I thought he was just the landscaper and he was just trying to make some money.
Well, so I get what Carl Franklin is saying there completely, but then you apply that to this guy who is always trying to cut down people's trees, and it's like, I see what you're shooting for, but the explanation doesn't quite line up with the character and how the character is treated, because he even tries to warn Easy. At one point, he's like, there's a guy. And that's why he doesn't get a crowbar to the back of the head when Frank Green shows up, right? But the end of the movie is him running to help a lady because the guy's trying to cut her trees down. He's like, if that guy ever comes back, let me know. So he just remains like a nuisance.
Yeah, right.
Wowie.
Yeah, I did.
When you watch a mystery, sometimes there'll be a character, and then in the end, they'll be really important. So I was waiting for this guy to be like, oh, I dug a hole and I found a dead body, or oh, I found some photos that someone dropped, or whatever, just something. Nope, not at all.
Yeah, I mean, he was just there to warn him about Frank.
Pretty much. Yeah. So anyway, back to Easy. He is hired by Albright because Albright is like, okay, my lead is telling me that Daphne has been hanging out with black people. I can't go around asking a bunch of black people for information. They're not going to either give it to me, or I'm not going to be allowed in their places, which is like the speakeasy above the grocery store, right? So he's like, I need someone to do this who can go. And he says, I'm not of the right persuasion,
Mm-hmm.
So Joppy thinks that he's killing two birds with one stone because he's like, oh, I actually know where Daphne is, so I'll tip her off, and I'll get my friend Easy some money, and I'll recommend Easy takes the job. Okay. But Easy is not like a detective prior to this. He's not like a police officer. He is former military, and he really takes to like being a detective just like immediately.
He needs money for his mortgage.
He does need money for his mortgage, but I mean, I feel he's going above and beyond.
You think so?
Oh yeah. Like,
in
to
the
me,
beginning,
it's like, find out where she is, give her the info. I'm done. Like I'm done, man.
Yeah. I think also it helped that he was familiar with the location. Mm-hmm. Like he frequented this place, or knew of it. And I think that made it a little bit easier to be like, well, I've been there. I know it. Easy $100. All right, I'll do it.
Okay, so let's say that you're Easy. At what point are you like, I'm out?
Mm-hmm. Well, this is what I'm saying. We get pretty entangled here because if I was being held accountable for murder, like it escalates so fast. I can't just say I'm out. I have to prove my innocence, especially since I know I'm innocent. And you know, this is me as a white person speaking. Like easier. They're looking for someone to blame. So whether they know Easy's innocent or not, it's just like we're gonna blame you and they'll listen to us.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if I got picked up by the cops and they were like, hey, that person you were with last night is dead, I probably would have folded right away. I would have been like, okay, well, number one, I was there because a man hired me. This is where his office is. This is his name.
Well, right. Well, sure. Right.
Like, I will tell you everything. Yeah. And if this woman was killed, I probably need like protective custody, like against this guy. But I didn't think that the story was that convoluted. And then I watched it. And when I watched it the second time, I watched it with my wife. Mm-hmm. And I'm taking notes. And then sometimes during a conversation, I would kind of pause it to like really write down the details, right? Because I wanted to make sure all the connections were right. And by the end of the movie, I said to her, I was like, this actually is really convoluted. Like way more than I thought it was on my first watch. And that's not necessarily a bad thing because I got to tell you, watching this movie twice in 2 days, I really enjoyed it both times. Like I found the runtime to be pretty good, and I was interested in every performance. I thought was pretty dang great, even down to Carter, her boyfriend. I was like, what's this guy all about? Mm-hmm. The other dude, Terrell, I was like, this dude is like the devil. So and then you find out, yeah. So, yeah. But anyway, I thought Denzel was great in this. I love the final moments of him, with his friend Odell on the porch, talking about, if you're friends with someone who's a bad person, you stay bad. If you're friends with someone who's done bad things and you stay friends with them, is that all right? And Odell's like, all you have is your friends. And he's like, yeah, okay, I guess that's true.
Yeah, and also like thinking about maybe this is a career path I can do, which if this continued on a franchise, what would that look like? But because it broke even at the box office, I'm assuming is why there was no want to continue this.
Right. Yeah, there are several novels with this same character. Yeah. And I love the titles all have a color in the title. I really like that. I don't know why. Mm-hmm. But I was like, you know what? I like that.
Yeah.
Also, Easy gets so beat up throughout this movie, which I really liked.
You liked that?
Yeah.
Why did you like that?
Stakes. I always love when there's stakes.
Okay.
Get your neck cut a little bit. At the end, when he's racing to the cabin, his whole cheek is like puffed up like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You don't like that? You don't like getting beat up?
No, I think it was just the way you phrased it that made me question. Because you're like, I like to see it. I mean, it was fitting for the story, but I wouldn't say like, you know what I really liked about Devil in a Blue Dress? It's Denzel getting beat up. I really enjoyed all the violence on that.
I would say that.
Oh, I know. You did.
I just did.
So.
Also, in addition to getting beat up, Easy gets rich throughout the course of this movie.
Yeah. So that's another motivator. Is wow, look at this like cash I can make.
Yeah, dude. Okay, so I did the math on the $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
In the summer of 48 to now, that's like $13,500.
What is 100? Because that was the first, right? So he'll make 100.
So that would be like 1,300.
Yeah.
And I think he gives him 200.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, they meet up again, right? And he gives them another 100.
I think that the job is originally 200. He pays him up front, and then when they meet up at the pier, he gives him another 100.
Right.
So we're talking 3,900, almost $4,000.
That's great. I mean,
for asking questions.
Right.
Like, what does this movie take place in? Like 3 or 4 days.
Right. Yeah.
So that's a lot of cash. Then he gets $1,000 from Carter. Then he gets $3,500 from Daphne. Like, Easy just made, a year's worth of money in like a week. So yeah, he's like, I think I'm going to take some time off and
hang out with my friends.
Maybe I'll keep doing this private detective thing.
Right.
Okay. Jennifer Beals as Daphne, the devil in a blue dress. How did you feel about her?
So this is where had the issue with the character.
Okay. Lay it on me.
I like her.
Uh-huh.
I think she did a good job.
Uh-huh.
However, I think this devil in a blue dress, this character should have been more sultry, and I wanted to feel more sex appeal. And I wish I had a better example of this, but I wanted Jessica Rabbit.
Got it. Okay.
For Easy to feel the physical attraction, to feel it, because he feels it. And that's the point of it. We know that, but I feel like it wasn't conveyed enough. Maybe I just needed, I don't know if it would have been more from her, a different actress. Maybe I'm missing the point entirely.
See, I felt kind of the opposite. Like, I feel like by the time he gets with Daphne in the same place, I feel like he's like just so done with her in terms of like, this is a person who's caused me a lot of trouble, that I didn't really think he was attracted to her. And there's one moment later on when she breaks into his house and it's like she goes in to kiss him and he just kind of like grabs her and like pushes her away.
Mm-hmm. But she's the main eye, of attraction.
Yeah.
I just needed like a little, and she's so beautiful. It's just, I needed a little bit more of like that element. Right.
Yeah, she's the femme fatale archetype.
Right.
The movie is called Devil in a Blue Dress, and she's the one wearing the blue dress. I thought it was so funny when he talks to Carter, and Carter's like, well, what was she wearing? He's like, a blue dress. And Carter's like, that's her. I was like, wait a second.
Right.
Like, look, my wife owns a blue dress. Okay, she's worn it a couple of times. If I said to someone, what was she wearing? And they're like, she was wearing a blue dress. I'm like, of course.
Yeah, that's her.
Only she would wear a blue dress.
But again, like, we're putting such emphasis, like this, there should just be more to it.
Yeah.
And I
Now,
read that Franklin, they did shoot a sex scene between the two or them hooking up, and they cut it because he felt that it didn't actually provide anything for the story, and he wanted to keep it more of a mystery driven story. And so once I read that, I was like, well, I really needed more. Like I really just wanted, as you keep saying, va va voom.
Okay. All right. Now knowing that, I see where you're coming from a little bit more. Because what I wanted a little bit more of, I guess I should say, even though I didn't really want more of it, was the movie isn't called Woman in a Blue Dress. The movie's called Devil in a Blue Dress. So I was like, oh, this lady is going to be evil. Oh, she's going to be killing people. She's going to be double crossing. And then in the end, you're kind of like, I mean, I do kind of feel bad for her.
Right. And so maybe that's really what the problem is. It's like the title doesn't match this character.
No, the title doesn't match the character at all.
Like, show her being like just more, what is the word?
Manipulative.
Thank you. And like, I am so just, you cannot say no to me,
right,
type deal. Like, look at me.
Right.
And she...
I laugh because I sent a tweet the other day that said, noir can be a hard genre to define, but I think I'm getting close. Women can make men do anything.
Yeah.
And in this, it's not so much Daphne that's like propelling things. It's more so Albright.
Yeah.
Like the menace and the violence and like the whole like, hey, I'm going to break into your house and threaten to kill you. And then I won't. But also I'm going to pin 2 murders on you. Also, I'm going to leave you alive so I can pin those murders on you. Like, I feel like he is way more the engine, the thing kind of behind Easy that's like pushing him forward, like you said, into all these situations where it's like he doesn't have an option but to continue.
Yeah, we could have called it like Devil in a Cheap Suit or something, you know?
Right.
Like, right. Devil in a oversized jacket. That's bad, but you know, like, it's just she wasn't a devil to me.
No, she wasn't a devil, and I mean, I think her great sin of the movie. You know, it's funny, we talked about Mississippi Masala last week and this idea of colorism in the modern day. And then we go back to 1948 and that's what this movie is about, right? It's about a half black woman who's passing for white and her desire to abandon her blackness for this marriage, right? And of course, we would say that's not good. Like, it's not good to just be like, I'm going to ignore this entire part of my life and like pretend to be someone that I'm not in order to be with the person that I love, because the person that you love should be with you, not despite parts of your life, but they accept you. Like, I would say that's not a healthy marriage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd say so.
But to me, it's like, if that's her great sin, it's not that bad. Like, it's just not that bad. It's not as bad as Albright. Like, you know, the stuff that he does, it's nuts. Or even like Mouse. Like, Mouse is insane.
Oh my God. Mouse is the best part. He's the best part of this movie.
But yeah, I guess you and I are on the same page though. She's not a devil. I would describe her as misguided, but she's not a devil.
Unless it's a representation of what you're describing of this really big issue at hand here and how much that can derail you and in a sense like make you sway a certain way as the devil could and would. Yeah. And she just so happens to be wearing a blue dress like 3 times.
Right.
You know?
And I mean, the movie is about the black community in LA in the 40s. Yeah. I mean, that ending is wonderful. It's so great.
Yeah.
When one of my favorite moments of the movie is when a car is driving by and Denzel kind of like does a little backwards trot and then like plays the drums on the car as it passes by and he's like, hey, Jimmy, or whatever. It feels so just like real and cool, you know? I love that. I love it. And in reading some of, what Carl Franklin was talking about, he was interested in presenting this group of people, again, a lot like Mississippi Masala, this Indian community in Mississippi, which is just very niche, so much so that like you and I had never heard of this whole idea of, Ugandan Asians being kicked out and exiled. Much like that, Easy Rollins is a Texan. And at the time, a lot of Southern Black people were moving to LA for these jobs, and they were living in Black neighborhoods. And he wanted to show that. I mean, that block that they're on, it's all Black owned businesses. When we go up into the speakeasy, there's not a white person to be seen, and there's one thing that I saw. Did you look into the movie that's on the marquee?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so later in the film, when Easy has Mouse meet him outside of Joppy's bar, we see a quick movie marquee. And the movie on the marquee is called The Betrayal. This is a real movie from 1948, directed by Oscar Micheaux, who was one of the earliest and most prolific Black filmmakers in America. It was the last film that Micheaux directed. And unfortunately, at this point in time, it is a lost film. So it could be found. Films are found all the time, but we can't watch this movie. The movie is about a Black man who falls in love with a white woman. This is not allowed. And so he moves to the city. He marries a Black woman. Things go south. Meanwhile, the woman back home finds out that she's not white, that she's part Black, and that she just passes for white. And she was told that she's white.
Oh, wow.
There's murder involved. There's a lot of things. And so it's such a cool pull to put in this movie that also takes place in 1948.
Yeah.
That like, Carl Franklin or Walter Mosley put in there to be like, hey, this is part of the story, that we're telling. This is a story about, what it means to be Black and how Easy is like leaning into, hey, this is my neighborhood. This is my friend. We hung out, we played cards, we forgot about the whole thing. And this is the home that I own. Meanwhile, you have Daphne, who's kind of running from everything, and she's trying to change who she is. And because of that, everything kind of falls apart. And like, I feel bad even saying because of that, as if it's like, hey, you're Black, you should have stayed with your Black community. And obviously that is not what I'm saying. But I think the movie, I don't think the movie is necessarily saying that, but Easy has that little monologue at the end where he says, we went around the world and we saved the world, but the color line is something that even someone as powerful as Todd Carter, he won't cross.
Mm-hmm.
So it sucks that like, even though after everything they get the photos, Carter can still run for mayor because his family knows who she is. He can't perceive, or he won't. I shouldn't say can't, because he could have, and then he gives that just worm of a line to Easy. He says, I do love her. And it's like, okay. Man. Yeah, good for you. Like, yeah. You're a good guy. So Carl Franklin in casting Jennifer Beal, he was hesitant to do it because she had starred in Flashdance and she had been open about being of mixed race. Mm-hmm. And he was like, this is going to ruin the twist of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
When I watched it, I kind of knew who Jennifer Beal was because I've seen Flashdance, but it didn't really register with me. Then I watched it with my wife, and, the movie keeps playing up, oh, she's a white woman. She's hanging out with black people. She's in a segregated part of the hotel. All this stuff, right, that would lead you to believe. And then when we walk in on her, my wife, Jean Marie, said, she's like, wait, she's not white. That's Jennifer Beal.
Well, I felt the same way too.
And I was like, oh, wait, you know who that is? And she's like, yeah. She's like, wait, what the heck? And then she literally said, oh, is that the twist of the movie that she's part black? And I didn't say anything, but in my head, I was like, oh, does this twist not work? So for you, did it work?
No, because I felt the same, but also because I know her. We covered her in Vampire's Kiss.
Right.
Like, and I just know of her. And I was like, she doesn't look white to me.
Yeah.
So
where in the book, you can only picture what you're told, right?
Right.
And so that twist would come so much harder than in the movie. And especially, like I said, if you know who Jennifer Beal is.
Right. Yeah.
So I think, Carl Franklin, I think, was right. He seemed to think, though, that audiences at the time still felt it was a twist. So he felt okay about that decision.
Yeah. And I guess also it's just the way the twist is presented to us.
Mm-hmm.
And what are the stakes with the twist?
Right. So for me, the big twist of the movie was what the letter and the photos were.
Same.
My jaw dropped. I gasped.
Yeah.
Then the very next scene is that great scene with Mouse, where Mouse is drunk and he's got the gun to Denzel's chest. Throughout that whole scene, my mouth was open. Mm-hmm. And not from that new interaction. It was still from that stuff with Terrell.
Yeah. And, earlier meeting him with the child and being like, oh, it's my adopted son. Oh, it's just so gross.
It's
an
crazy.
Uneasy feeling.
Yeah. And when we meet him, we don't know anything about him. He's got money and he's got power, and everyone in the movie is kind of against Easy. So I feel like it's pretty easy to not trust him anyway.
Well, also, but he presents himself as like he's an ally to the Black community.
Right.
And so you're like, okay, can I trust this guy? Who is this guy? Soft-spoken. He doesn't beat up Easy. Oh, he's a dad. Mm-hmm. Okay, he wants to help.
Right.
Lets him go.
Right. Yeah, to me, it's like, he's like, oh, Coretta used to work for me, so, I'm real concerned. And I'm like, yeah, of course you're concerned, because you're a bad guy, right? Mm-hmm. But then he doesn't really give you any reason to, necessarily think he's a bad guy. And then when that twist came, I was like, this is just not what I thought was happening. It's so shocking.
Yeah.
Okay, Tom Sizemore, DeWitt Albright. How did you feel about him?
I'm trying to think if I know him from anything else.
Okay.
But I think he did a good job playing this role. We start off, hey, just do this job, and then we're going to intimidate, and then we're going to show up with the people. It made sense. Everything he did didn't surprise me, I guess.
When we were introduced to him, we know that Joppy and Easy are buddies, and Joppy seems really nice and cool. So that he's like, hey, man, do some work for this guy. And it's going to be a little dangerous, but then you meet him at his office. And so you think, oh, this is a private detective. And he's been hired by this guy's fiance to find her, which is okay, I definitely thought that there was some shady stuff with him. But then he comes to Easy's defense when those white guys think that Easy's hitting on their girlfriend and they're going to beat him up, which Albright then turns into the most psychotic situation that I've ever seen. Then when we see him at Easy's house and he calls him the N-word, I was like, wait, this guy's not this guy wasn't even necessarily defending Easy. I think he's just a psycho who takes any chance he can to be sadistic and insane.
Well, yeah. Also, he was hired and now he's outsourced. Mm-hmm. You better do your effing job.
Right.
And the time and the clock is ticking. Also, that scene when they're in the house and they're sitting at the table I couldn't help but notice what was happening outside the window. And there was a milkman delivery. And so the milkman was parked outside the house and he was just delivering milk. And then a neighbor came and grabbed the milk. And I was like, this was not necessary, but I love that we're adding in this element of the neighborhood because life is continuing outside.
Right. Life is continuing. Right.
While this is happening inside.
Right. Yeah. And it's interesting you say that because Carl Franklin made another statement. I didn't write it down, but he was talking about how he didn't want to increase the noir elements of the story. He wanted to increase the neighborhood elements of the story.
Wow.
Like that's what spoke to him in the movie. This idea of Easy owning his own home and like working on the home. He said something about like the noir elements are there and they're already so pronounced. He's like, so I didn't play on those. I played on the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting you said that because I didn't even notice because I'm just watching Easy, with a dude like putting a gun to his face and then Albright being like, nah, I'm just kidding. Don't shoot him. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
Like he is a psychopath. And then in the end, when he has Daphne in the cabin and he's like, oh, what part of you is black? Although even though he's not saying that. And he's like, oh, I'll burn it out of you. This is
it's disgusting.
Like he's the devil. He's the devil.
The devil.
In this movie. It's not her. Oh my God. But yeah, Tom Sizemore, I thought he was really good in this. I kind of wish he was in it a little bit more, but then we get another psycho, which is Don Cheadle as Mouse.
The best psycho I didn't know I needed. But I loved this character so much. I couldn't believe after I watched and, started researching it that Cheadle almost didn't take the job because he thought he was too young to play this character.
Wow.
And so Denzel had to give him a call and approach him about it and like talk him into it. I did not think the age difference between these two characters were so vast. There's a 10-year age gap between them in real life, but like to me on screen, they look equal.
Right. Yeah, pretty equal. Mouse is appropriately named.
Yeah.
He's much smaller than Denzel.
Yeah.
He's, a mouse. If you've ever held like a mouse or a rat, their heart is like, you know what I mean? And that's how Mouse feels. Like he cannot just sit and chill out. Like he's always got to be doing something. And that something is, killing people.
He's so erratic.
So not only did Cheadle almost not take the role, Mouse almost didn't make it into the script. The script that they were working on when Carl Franklin comes into play, right? They had combined the characters of Mouse and Easy into one person because the studio wanted Easy to be more proactive. Like you said, it's like things keep happening to Easy and then he just kind of has no choice but to keep going. But in the original script, they were like, no, he needs to be more like a hero, basically, right? Like someone who's really doing things. And Carl Franklin was like, no. And they split him, back into two different characters. And it's great. I got to be honest, like, this is maybe now my favorite Don Cheadle role. Like, he's so funny, but also well acted. I didn't feel like Mouse was so over the top. I mean, that scene where he's drunk and Easy is like talking him down by being like, no, let him live and then he'll be scared of you. And he's like, yeah. I loved that. I watched that a couple times because I was like, it felt like too real.
Yeah.
Like when you're with someone who's under the influence and you have to kind of
coach them,
enter their world.
Mm-hmm.
Mouse has a great look. Did he enter your style inspo?
I didn't take a picture of him or add it to my folder, but I did love what was happening aesthetically.
Yeah. I loved the gold teeth.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I kind of wish I had a gold tooth.
There's still time.
Yeah.
Which one would you get? Like the side?
I don't know, because he's got two.
I know.
Off to the side. You know, tooth bedazzling is a thing.
I know.
You know, my brother did that.
Yeah. So maybe he can bedazzle you a little gold piece.
I think I would get
the two front ones.
Bedazzle.
I think you have. If I was gonna bedazzle, I would probably like I love my vampire canines.
Well, that's kind of what I was thinking. It was
but maybe next to it. So it's like you might not see it, but then if I were to like a little hello,
okay, a little hello. Mouse is so exasperated every time Easy is frustrated with him.
Yeah.
Like, he's not like, all right, man, I know I went too far. He's like, come on, dude. Like, what else was I supposed to do?
And that's the thing. Like, Mouse knows who he is. Mouse is like, you should know who I am. Why are we surprised at the way I'm acting? This is old news. Or it's not old news, you know?
And in Mouse's defense, which I shouldn't be defending him, Easy calls him into town.
You invited him. You invited him because you know how Mouse is. So let's not be so surprised.
I mean, Mouse comes on like a day's notice from Texas to California. I don't know how long that would take by train or however he got there, but he comes running. And so the message that Easy leaves for his wife must have been like, you got to tell Mouse to get to town now. So he comes ready. He is locked and loaded, literally. He is ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Easy's like, hey, man, lighten up.
Right.
I love when he's like, if you didn't want me to kill him, why'd you leave him with me?
Oh, this is my favorite line. This is my favorite line of the movie. And duh, he's a liability at this point. I need to take him out. You're welcome.
Right. I also love when they're in the car with Joppy and they're already heading there.
Oh my God.
And he's like, she's got $7,000. He like squeals the tires, brakes, and he just says, oh my goodness. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. And starts driving.
Especially when Easy is filling him in on who Joppy is. And Mouse is just like, what? Wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
Learning about Greta and Daphne.
Right.
Yeah, it's just great. It's just really entertaining.
Real quick, Joppy, ex-boxer, bar owner. My second favorite line of the movie is when Easy comes in with the hammer, starts beating up on his marble. And Joppy says, he's like, hey, my uncle left me that marble when he died. And Easy says, yeah? Well, he's about to get it back. That was pretty funny.
Going back to my experience watching this movie, I only watched it once. And like I said, I wasn't distracted. I only took one note, and it was that there was an unexpected cat at 1 hour and 5 minutes.
Is that when they're going to Junior's place?
Mm-hmm.
I took note of that cat on my second watch because I noticed the orchestration of that shot, and it's a wonder as they're going through the neighborhood and you see different things happening, and then just right at the right moment, that cat descends the stairs and walks out of the shot, and it's like, wow, that was a good cat acting.
Again, every time we get these quick shots in a film with a cat, and I'm like, you had to hire a cat actor to come do this. This costs money. This was not necessary. But it adds to the scene and the feel. So, yeah, I'm here for it. I'm not complaining.
Unless it was a cat like The Godfather, and that cat just happened to run through the shot, and they were like, perfect. Lastly, I do feel bad for Dupree. He's just like, my girlfriend was murdered. I miss her so much. She only wanted to be with me.
Mm.
And it's like Easy's just sitting there across from him like, oh,
yeah.
I hooked up with her
Yeah.
while you were sleeping in the other room. But yeah, man. Hey, where's that Bible, by the way?
All right.
I think if there's a victim of this film, it's Dupree.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into our happies and crappies.
It's time for happies and crappies. Happies and crappies. It's time for happies and crappies. Happies and crappies. It's time for happies.
Okay, so my happy for this movie is Don Cheadle. Specifically, obviously, of course, the character of Mouse. But I loved how Cheadle played this guy. Like, I don't want to say Mouse is likable.
He is likable.
He's as close to likable as he can be for me. And then my crappy, it's not even a crappy. I'm putting this crappy on myself. Okay, is just like how confused I was as I watched this for the first time. I apparently need a lot of hand holding when it comes to just dropping names and expecting me to remember who people are. But I'm not counting this as a point against the movie. This is a point against me. What about you?
My happy is also Don Cheadle.
Oof.
Love that character. My crappy, again, also just like a note where that I just felt the character of Daphne not matching the title of the film and wanting it to be just portrayed a little bit differently.
Yeah. But is that also a play on our expectations that we think she's going to be this thing?
Absolutely.
And then it turns out she's a victim of, a society that won't accept her as she is. And
totally. That's why it's not like against the movie. I think it's just my personal feeling. Like if I tell people about this movie, I'm not leading with that.
Right. No, I would say, hey, you want to watch a really cool detective story about a guy who's not a detective, but becomes one by the end.
I would recommend. You're right. Totally.
All right, so we've talked about how we feel about the movie. So now we're going to hear from some strangers on the internet in a segment that we call Half Star, 3-Star, 5-Star. These are reviews from letterboxd.com, which is a website and an app where you can log, rate, and review movies. We start with a half-star review, which is the lowest rating that you can give a film, and we go all the way up to a 5-star review, which is the highest rating that you can give a film. And I always read the half-star review in an accent or an impersonation. Michelle, do you have any requests?
I don't.
All right. Whoa, what does that mean?
We got to go to our Wheel of Voices.
Wheel of Voices!
Okay, I'm spinning the wheel. Hey, Daffy Duck.
Yes, Mathal.
Hello.
Wonderful to be here.
Thank you for joining us. Can you read our half-star review for Devil in a Blue Dress?
Yes, it would be my honor. Also, I must say, you've had that ridiculous Bugs Bunny on. Way more than you've had me.
Daffy, you're hard to get a hold of. We would have loved to have had you sooner, but you have quite the busy schedule.
Yes, this is true. Okay, here is the half-star review for Devil in a Blue Dress. Life is too short for movies this boring. I even gave it 1 hour, 13 minutes, and 38 seconds, but I can't take no more.
Wow, Daffy, that's preposterous.
Wow.
This scum should not have left a review for a movie he did not finish.
We say that all the time.
I agree, Daffy. Yeah, I agree. Well, hey, thank you, Daffy.
Thank you, Daffy.
You're welcome.
I should note, I pulled this half-star review. I will say there are only 3 half-star reviews for Devil in a Blue Dress on Letterboxd, which might be a record for this show. And if it's not, it's at least tied or close to the record for the lowest amount of half-star reviews.
Yeah, because last week Mississippi Masala had 4, I believe, half-star reviews. Mm-hmm. Wow.
I've definitely found ones that were like 5, 6, but only three.
Wow.
This person couldn't finish the movie.
So boring.
1 hour and 38 No, an hour and 13 minutes. What do you got, like 20 minutes?
I know. Come on.
Just come on. Okay, 3-star review says, I would have titled it God in a White Tank Top. and I really laughed at that.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Like, I got to pull it.
That's great.
5-star review says, yes, it's a moody, gripping noir in the grand tradition, which also happens to stare down the barrel of America's long-standing history of denying Black people access to material prosperity. But also, Denzel Washington is very hot in this.
Mm-hmm.
So, there you go.
I mean, I'll sign off on that. So, yes, agreed.
I do feel at this point, this is 95, right? When we were watching him in 1990, 1991, he felt more like younger. Like I was like, wow, this is like really young Denzel. In this movie, I feel like he's close to like dad character age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like Easy does not strike me as a young person.
No.
Even though he can't be that old, because I mean he just fought in World War II, so that's 3 years prior is the end of World War II. So I mean, his character might be 27, 28.
Yeah.
All right. So what did Ebert say? He rated this 3 out of 4 stars. And the quote that I pulled from his review says, the explanation, when it comes, tidies all of the loose ends, but you're aware that it's arbitrary. An elegant solution to a chess problem rather than a necessary outcome of guilt and passion. And his review kind of was leaning towards like, look, just go in and watch the movie. The details don't matter. Okay, so we rate things as a movie, a schmovie, or a film. We rate it 1 through 5 stars. We give our thoughts on the runtime, if we recommend it or not, and we give a shout out to whatever part of the film's practical filmmaking stood out to us. Before we record each episode, we also write down a guess of what the other hosts will rate the film, and every time we guess correctly, we get to add a point to our tattoo tally. Now, whichever host has the most points at the end of this year gets to pick a tattoo for the other host that they will then get tattooed on them without knowing what the tattoo is first. Michelle, would you like to go first?
Sure.
I guessed that you were going to rate this a 3.5-star movie.
That's correct.
Wow. Incredible. So I get to add a point. I'm up to 2 points now.
You sure
this is great.
You sure are.
Okay. What did you think of the movie?
I am definitely recommending it. I think this is a good time. It's a good watch. It keeps your attention. And this isn't one of those movies where I'm recommending it only to certain people. I'm going to recommend this to everyone who's like looking for like a good mystery. I think this is a good one to watch. I was fine with the runtime, and overall I felt it looked great. I loved all the neighborhood scenes. I love the cat shot. Like I said, we talked about like the wonder and if that cat was done on purpose or if we actually brought in the cat. So yeah, this was a good watch. This was a good watch.
Very cool. Very cool.
For you, since I'm writing them down, I wrote down 3.5 movie.
Oh, so close. 4-star movie. I thought that this was great. I had a really good time. Like I said, in those opening moments, I was like, this is 5 stars. Cut the movie, cut to credits. Mm-hmm. That's all that I need. Mm-hmm. I thought the runtime was great. I definitely recommend this. And I'm now going to recommend this as, like I said, maybe one of the lesser seen Denzel movies. I mean, this movie didn't really make a big splash when it opened, unfortunately. Carl Franklin blames that on the movie being promoted by a company that didn't make the movie. I saw one person say that this was due to the O.J. Simpson trial being so popular that no one was going to the movies at this time.
Interesting.
Because everyone was so glued to, it's like, is that possible? Carl Franklin also blamed this on the genre, and he pointed at other really famous noir films that didn't make money.
Right.
He said young people don't go see detective movies. And unfortunately, that's true.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah. So,
wow.
And then as far as practical filmmaking, I loved the costumes in this. I mean, the shots of the neighborhood and of the business street, those were great too, but I really dug all the costumes in this. Tom Sizemore's ridiculous tie, Denzel Washington's undershirt and suspenders. I thought that, I thought Sharon Davis knocked it out of the park. And we commented last week, she also did the costume design for Mississippi Masala. And it was the same thing. All the costumes felt very lived in. Everything felt very real. So, major props to her. Hey, if you want to give major props to us, we'd love it if you give us a rating and a review wherever you're listening. You can also send us an email, moviefriendspodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what we should do for Denzel Month 2.0, if it should ever come around. You know what I mean? Did you watch any of these movies as we were covering them? Did you think that she was a devil in a blue dress? Please send us your thoughts. You can also support the show, patreon.com/moviefriendspodcast. $5 a month gets you access to ad-free episodes, our patron-only Discord, where you can talk to other people who, like movies. And Michelle's been doing a thing where she'll send in random shapes and ask people what animal it looks like.
If you want to get in on that.
If you want to get in on that, You also get access to our additional episodes and series. You get to vote on monthly episodes and quarterly themes. Holy cow, folks. That's right. Patreon.com/moviefriendspodcast. And hey, we'll also shout you out on the show. We'll write a little jingle to welcome you.
We could we could freestyle.
Do. Is that already a song?
I think it sounded like you were going into Mentos.
Yeah, I think I was. You signed up on patreon.com.
Love it.
All right. Next week's episode. Now, this is also a detective story. Different detective, though. Some people would call him the world's greatest detective. That's right, folks. Now, I got to preface this by saying, if you didn't listen to our first episode this year, we made the announcement that in 2026, we're not going to be doing themed months every single month. We're going to exercise our free will a little here. We're going to cover some movies that we've been meaning to cover for a while, some movies that we wanted to cover for a while. And so February is our first free month. Can you believe it, Michelle?
You can't hold us down.
And so we're selling out, folks. Okay,
Is this a sellout?
Yeah. We're gonna cover a couple movies that are like big movies, right? Like, whoa, popular movies that people have seen. Not forever, just a couple. It's funny because we're gonna do this movie, and then the next movie is like not a sellout movie at all.
Right. Balance.
That's right. Anyway, next week. That's right, folks. Finally, here we are. The first Christopher Nolan film that we are covering together.
Knight.
You and I, Michelle, The Dark Knight from 2008, currently streaming on HBO Max. Michelle, have you seen this?
Yes, in theaters and again at home.
Me too. I've got a lot of stories about seeing this movie, actually.
Oh, yeah?
I'm going to save it.
Okay, good. Because we're at the end of the episode. So
that's right.
Save it for next week.
We'll save it for next week. Wow. Here it is. I mean, also, have we done a superhero movie, you and me?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. We've done them as the new release episodes as superhero movies have come out, that we've covered. But I think this is the first time you and I will talk about a superhero.
Yeah.
You sound really excited.
I hope I can provide. That's all I have to say.
I mean, it's Batman. What's there to say?
Oh my God. No, we did Batman and Robin.
Oh my God.
How could we forget about the joy of Batman and Robin, the gem that you introduced me to.
True.
And you had to teach me all
Schmovie month.
all of the background of Batman, which I probably have forgotten. So, yeah. Well,
listen to that episode and it will definitely prepare you
That's true.
for Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. It will all come flooding back.
Yes.
But I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about this movie.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Michelle.
Thank you, Seth. Thank you, patrons, for a great month.
Yes, thank you. Yes. And hey, thank you for listening. And remember, folks, all you got is your friends. Till next week when we're talking about The Dark Knight, thank you for listening. Have a good one.
Movie Friends is produced by Seth Vargas and Michelle Rubenstein. Theme music by Jean Marie Vargas. Visit us at our website, moviefriendspodcast.com, and please subscribe and rate our show wherever you are listening. You can support Movie Friends at patreon.com/moviefriendspodcast. Thanks for listening.